The Gift of Mockery. Commander Maya Patel stood at the observation deck of Ganymede Station, her dark eyes fixed on the massive hologram floating before the assembled Earth delegation. The Confederation representatives, towering crystalline beings that called themselves the Lumini, were presenting their welcoming gift to humanity with what she could only interpret as barely concealed amusement. "The Stellar Voyager," announced High Chancellor Ixel, their crystalline form shimmering with pulses of blue light, a testament to our goodwill toward emerging civilizations. The hologram rotated slowly, revealing a battle-scarred vessel that stretched nearly 3 kilometers from bow to stern. Its hull was a patchwork of different materials, like a quilt sewn together by a colorblind giant with poor hand-eye coordination. Maya fought to keep her expression neutral, though her jaw clenched tight enough to make her teeth ache. After 15 years of proving humanity's worthiness to join the Galactic Confederation, after countless technological benchmarks and cultural assessments, this was their reward. A decommissioned wreck that looked like it had been dragged backward through an asteroid field. "We are honored by the Confederation's generosity," she replied, the diplomatic phrases tasting like ash in her mouth. Behind her, she could hear the whispers of her team, engineers, physicists, and military strategists handpicked from Earth's finest institutions. The Lumini delegation's crystalline forms flickered with what Maya had learned to recognize as their version of self-satisfied smugness. "We trust you'll find the vessel's systems accessible to your current level of technological understanding," Ixel added, their tone dripping with condescension. Later, in the privacy of her office aboard Ganymede Station, Maya called an emergency meeting with her core team. Dr. James Chen, Earth's leading quantum physicist, was already scrolling through the ship's specifications on his holoscreen, his expression growing increasingly puzzled. "This doesn't make sense," he muttered, expanding a diagram of the ship's core systems. "The power distribution network. It's unnecessarily complex for such basic functionality. It's almost as if..." "As if what?" Maya leaned forward, studying the intricate patterns of energy conduits that sprawled throughout the vessel like a three-dimensional maze. "As if someone deliberately overcomplicated a simple system to hide something else." James manipulated the hologram, highlighting specific junctions and nodes. "Look at these crystalline matrices in the power core. They're arranged in patterns that serve no apparent purpose for basic power generation, but they remind me of theoretical models for quantum field manipulation." Lieutenant Sofia Rodriguez, their military systems specialist, snorted. "So they didn't just give us junk. They gave us deliberately overcomplicated junk." Or, Dr. Aisha Hassan, their chief engineer, spoke up from where she'd been quietly analyzing material composition data. "They gave us something they don't fully understand themselves." She projected her own findings alongside James's diagram. "These crystalline matrices. Their molecular structure is unlike anything in the Confederation's material database. They're not manufactured. They're salvaged from somewhere else." Maya felt a smile tugging at her lips for the first time since the gift ceremony. "Are you suggesting the Confederation handed us technology they haven't managed to decode themselves?" "Precisely," James nodded eagerly. "They'd probably been using these crystals for basic power generation, because that's all they could figure out. But these patterns..." He highlighted a series of geometric formations within the matrices. "They're quantum resonance structures. In theory, if properly energized and configured, they could be used to manipulate the fabric of space-time itself." "How long would it take to test that theory?" Maya asked, her mind already racing with possibilities. 3 months, minimum," Aisha replied. "We'll need to fabricate specialized testing equipment, and we'll have to do it quietly. If we're right about this, we don't want the Confederation knowing what we've discovered." Maya stood, looking out her office window at the distant shape of Jupiter hanging against the star-filled void. They meant this ship as an insult, a way to put humanity in what they consider our proper place. Her reflection smiled back at her, sharp and determined. "Instead, they may have just handed us the keys to the galaxy. Get your teams together. We have work to do." As the others filed out, Already discussing technical requirements and resource allocation, Maya remained at the window. The Confederation thought they were giving Earth a lesson in humility. Instead, they were about to learn a very different lesson about underestimating humanity's capacity for innovation. Above Ganymede Station, the stellar Voyager drifted in its holding orbit, its scared hull reflecting Jupiter's light. To any observer, it looked like exactly what it was supposed to be, a cast-off piece of space junk gifted to a primitive species. But inside its battered exterior, humanity was about to turn the Confederation's mockery into something that would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. Hidden in plain sight, the stellar Voyager's engineering bay hummed with carefully contained energy as Dr. Aisha Hassan calibrated another sensor array. 6 weeks had passed since the Confederation's gift, and the ship's interior had been transformed into a web of experimental equipment and prototype interfaces. Holographic displays flickered with streams of data as teams of Earth's finest engineers and scientists worked in carefully orchestrated shifts. Got something? James Chen called out from his workstation, where quantum field readings danced across multiple screens. The crystal matrix is responding to the new resonance frequencies. He manipulated a set of controls, and one of the salvaged crystals began to pulse with a deep violet light. Look at these quantum signatures. Aisha moved to his station, her eyes widening as she studied the readings. That's not just power generation. The field structure is. She paused, running calculations through her neural interface. It's creating microscopic distortions in space-time. Exactly. James could barely contain his excitement. The Confederation's been using these crystals like batteries, but they're actually quantum processors. Each one is capable of manipulating reality at the subatomic level. If we can synchronize multiple crystals, we could generate large-scale quantum fields. Aisha finished his thought, already modeling potential configurations in her mind. But we'd need a way to control and direct them. Our conventional systems aren't designed to handle this kind of power. That's where I come in, Sofia Rodriguez announced, entering the bay with a team of technicians wheeling in what looked like a collection of metallic spheres. Project Nexus is ready for testing. These quantum field inductors should let us interface our control systems with the crystal matrices. Commander Maya Patel watched from the doorway, taking in the organized chaos of human innovation at work. The Confederation's observers were due for another inspection in 2 days, but they'd never notice what was happening beneath the surface. Every modification, every new piece of equipment had been carefully designed to look like primitive attempts to understand basic systems. Status report, she requested, approaching the central workstation where her team had gathered. We've confirmed our initial theories, James began, pulling up a detailed analysis of the crystal matrices. These aren't just random salvaged components. They're part of something much bigger, possibly a piece of technology from a civilization that predates the Confederation itself. The crystalline structure is unlike anything in known space, Aisha added. It's as if someone found pieces of a quantum supercomputer and used them as paperweights because they didn't understand what they were looking at. Sophia manipulated the holographic display, showing the integration points for her new control systems. Once we get the field inductors online, we should be able to tap into the crystal's full potential. We're talking about technology that could rewrite the rules of physics within a localized area. Timeline, Maya asked, studying the projected milestones on the display. 2 more weeks to complete the basic integration, Aisha replied. Then maybe another 3 for testing and calibration. We'll have to work slowly to avoid drawing attention. The Confederation thinks we're still trying to figure out basic power distribution. Maya nodded, a slight smile playing at her lips. Speaking of our friends in the Confederation, she activated a secure channel on her neural interface, projecting intelligence data into the shared display. Our deep space sensors picked up something interesting. There's been unusual activity in the outer system, ships moving under stealth, trying to stay off conventional scanners. They're looking for something, Sophia mused, analyzing the movement patterns. Something they lost. Or something they're afraid someone else will find, James suggested. If these crystals are what we think they are, there might be more out there. The Confederation could be trying to maintain their monopoly on the technology. All the more reason to accelerate our work, Maya decided. But carefully. We need to maintain the appearance of struggling with basic systems while we prepare for. She paused, considering their options. What exactly will we be capable of once the integration is complete? James and Aisha exchanged glances before James spoke. Theoretically, localized manipulation of space-time. We could generate quantum fields that would make us virtually invisible to conventional sensors. Create propulsion systems that don't just move through space but reshape it. Defensive systems that operate on principles the Confederation doesn't even understand. And weapons? Sophia asked, ever the tactical specialist. The same principles that let us bend space for propulsion could be applied offensively, Aisha confirmed. But we be operating in completely uncharted territory. One miscalculation could have catastrophic consequences. Maya studied the holographic displays, watching the quantum field patterns pulse and shift. Somewhere out there, the Confederation was searching for something they feared could upset the balance of power they'd maintained for centuries. They had no idea that their patronizing gift to humanity was about to achieve exactly that. Continue the integration, she ordered, but add additional safeguards. When we reveal what we've accomplished, we need to be absolutely certain we can control it. She turned to Sophia. We're being hailed, Sophia announced. The Confederation is ordering us to withdraw. They're claiming this is a criminal pursuit and none of our concern. Show them our response, Maya commanded. Full quantum field activation, now. The crystal matrices surged with power, violet light pulsing through the ship's systems. Reality seemed to bend around the stellar Voyager as the quantum fields took effect. The first barrage of Confederation weapons fire passed harmlessly through space that, according to their sensors, the ship should have occupied. By the stars, Sophia breathed, watching the tactical display. We're registering simultaneously in 12 different locations. Their targeting systems can't get a lock. The quantum fields are creating localized space-time distortions, James explained, his hands dancing across control interfaces. We exist in multiple probabilistic states simultaneously, but we can't maintain this level of field generation for long. We won't need to, Maya replied. Aisha, redirect power to the forward quantum arrays. Let's show them what their primitive gift can really do. The stellar Voyager's response was precise and devastating. Focused quantum beams lanced out, their energy patterns shifting faster than the Confederation's defensive systems could adapt. Shields failed, engines sputtered, and weapon systems went dark as the quantum fields disrupted the very physics their technology relied upon. The fleeing vessel is hailing us, Sophia reported. They're scientists from the Confederation's Advanced Research Division. Defectors. The transmission cut through their secure channels, carrying a voice tight with urgency. This is Dr. Varel of Project Horizon. Please, we carry proof of the Confederation's deception. The crystal technology. It's not just about power generation or weapons. It's the key to understanding the universe itself. They've been suppressing the truth for centuries. Maya's eyes met each of her crew members in turn, seeing the same determination reflected back. What had started as a response to the Confederation's mockery had just become something far more significant. They weren't just proving humanity's worth anymore. They were about to uncover secrets that could reshape their understanding of reality itself. Quantum fields are holding stable, Aisha reported. But the Confederation is calling for reinforcements. Whatever decision we're making, we need to make it now. Maya straightened in her command chair, her voice firm with resolve. Get that ship aboard. Sophia, prepare for quantum jump using the protocols we developed. James, Aisha, give us everything the crystals have got. It's time to show the galaxy what happens when you underestimate humanity's potential. As the stellar Voyager's quantum fields expanded to envelop the fleeing scientist's vessel, the first wave of Confederation reinforcements began emerging from faster-than-light travel. They arrived just in time to watch their quarry, and the supposedly primitive human ship vanish in a burst of violet energy that defied their most advanced sensors. The mockery of a gift had just become humanity's key to unlocking the greatest mysteries of the universe and the Confederation's worst nightmare. Turning the tables. Deep within the stellar Voyager's newly configured quantum lab, Dr. Vrel's crystalline form trembled with what Maya recognized as intense emotion. The defector scientist's data streams projected a truth that was both beautiful and terrifying in its implications. The crystals aren't just technology, Vrel explained, interfacing directly with their holographic displays. They're fragments of a quantum computational network that spanned galaxies. The civilization that built them, we call them the predecessors, they didn't just understand reality. They could write new rules for it. James Chen studied the complex equations flowing across the screens, and the Confederation found this technology centuries ago, Vrel confirmed, but they could never fully grasp its principles. The Confederation's leadership feared what would happen if younger species discovered the truth. So they hid it in plain sight, distributing the crystals as obsolete power sources, watching to ensure no one discovered their true potential. Until we did, Aisha added, her fingers dancing across the quantum interface they'd developed. But why give us so many crystals? The power core they installed contains enough to rebuild a node of the original network, Vrel finished. They never imagined a primitive species could achieve what their best minds couldn't. Your unique approach, combining quantum mechanics with principles they'd never considered, it's revolutionary. The ship's alert system pulsed, and Sophia's voice came through the quantum comm. Commander, we've got incoming. Massive Confederation fleet. At least 30 capital ships. They're using some kind of advanced quantum tracking system to follow our quantum wake. Maya's mind raced through options. How long until they reach us? 20 minutes, maybe less. They're pushing their drives beyond safe limits. They're desperate. Vrel's crystalline form flickered with agitation. If the truth about the crystals becomes widely known, their authority over the younger species will crumble. Maya turned to her team. Options. The quantum field generators are fully operational, Aisha reported. We could try to outrun them, but they're clearly prepared for our quantum jumping capability now. James stepped forward, his expression intense. Or we could do something they'd never expect. Vrel, you said the crystals were part of a network. Could we rebuild it? With the crystals in this ship, Vrel's form pulsed with excitement. Yes, theoretically, but it would require immense power and precise control. One mistake, and we could tear a hole in space-time itself. We've got company. Sophia's warning cut through their discussion. Confederation advanced scouts dropping out of quantum space. They're charging weapons. Maya made her decision. James, Aisha, begin the network initialization. Vrel, we'll need your guidance. Sophia, defensive patterns, but don't engage unless absolutely necessary. Let's show them something new. The stellar Voyager's crystal matrices hummed with power as James and Aisha began the delicate process of reconfiguring their quantum fields. Vrel provided critical guidance, helping them understand patterns that the Confederation had missed for centuries. The first Confederation barrage struck their quantum shields and simply ceased to exist. The energy dispersed across multiple probability states. The second wave of attacks never reached them, caught in microscopic space-time distortions that the stellar Voyager's quantum fields had generated. Network initialization at 60%, James reported as the main Confederation fleet arrived. The quantum resonance patterns are aligning. The space around them began to shimmer as reality itself responded to the awakening crystal network. The Confederation fleet's formation faltered as their sensors struggled to cope with the unprecedented quantum phenomena. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, Sophia announced, demanding our immediate surrender. They're threatening to declare humanity a threat to galactic stability. Maya allowed herself a small smile. Send them our response. Full spectrum quantum broadcast. The message that pulsed out from the stellar Voyager carried more than just words. Embedded in quantum frequencies that every Confederation ship could detect was the full truth about the crystal technology, along with the proof of their centuries of deception. Network initialization at 90%. Asia called out. Something's happening. The quantum fields around the ship suddenly expanded, connecting with ancient protocols that had lain dormant for millennia. For a moment, the stellar Voyager existed at the center of a web of pure quantum energy, each crystal singing in harmony with patterns encoded before the Confederation existed. By the predecessors, Vrel breathed, their crystalline form resonating with the energy. You've done it. You've actually done it. The complete quantum network node, fully operational. The Confederation fleet's formation had completely broken down now, their ships drawing back as their sensors registered power readings that defied their understanding of physics. Maya opened a channel to their command ship. This is Commander Maya Patil of the Earth vessel Stellar Voyager. The technology you tried to hide has been rediscovered, not by your methods, but by humanity's unique perspective. We don't want conflict, but we will not allow the truth to be suppressed any longer. Through the quantum network, they could sense the chaos erupting across Confederation command channels as the truth spread. Other species were already demanding explanations, their own scientists beginning to re-examine the obsolete crystals they'd been given. Multiple ships entering the system, Sophia reported, her voice filled with wonder. Representatives from at least a dozen species. They're asking for humanity's help in understanding the crystal technology. Maya looked around at her crew, human ingenuity and determination personified, and the crystalline form of Rel, who had risked everything to expose the truth. The Confederation's attempt to mock humanity with a gift of primitive technology had backfired in the most spectacular way possible. Send them our response, she ordered. Tell them humanity is ready to share what we've learned. It's time for a new era of galactic cooperation, one based on truth and mutual respect, not suppression and control. The quantum network pulsed with potential, ready to unlock mysteries that had waited millennia to be rediscovered. And humanity, the species that had been deemed too primitive to handle advanced technology, would lead the way into this new age of discovery. A new dawn. 3 months after the confrontation that changed the balance of power in the galaxy, the stellar Voyager hung in orbit above Earth, its quantum systems humming in perfect harmony with the dozen other ships surrounding it. Each vessel represented a different species, all here to learn about the technology that humanity had unlocked. Maya Patel stood in the newly established Quantum Integration Center, which had once been the ship's cargo bay. Now it served as both classroom and laboratory, where representatives from across the galaxy worked together to understand the predecessor's legacy. The key was perspective, James Chen explained to the assembled group, his hands guiding intricate quantum projections. The Confederation approached the crystals with preconceptions based on their existing technology. Humanity, being less advanced, had to understand them from first principles, which led to discoveries they'd missed entirely, Aisha Hassan added, demonstrating how their hybrid control systems interfaced with the quantum network. We didn't try to force the technology to work our way. We adapted to its natural patterns. Among the attendees, several crystalline Lumini scientists watched with undisguised fascination. After the collapse of the Confederation's authority, many of their brightest minds had eagerly joined the collaborative effort, free at last to pursue knowledge without political constraints. Commander, Sofia Rodriguez's voice came through the quantum comm. The first test of the expanded network is ready. All participating ships report optimal quantum field alignment. Maya nodded to her team. Begin the initialization sequence. Throughout the assembled ships, crystal matrices pulsed in synchronization. The quantum network that humanity had reactivated began to expand, connecting vessels of different species and designs into a harmonious whole. In the space between them, reality shimmered as ancient protocols awakened. Dr. Vrel, now Earth's primary advisor on predecessor technology, monitored the readings with their entire crystalline form vibrating in excitement. The network is achieving synaptic coherence across all nodes. It's even more efficient than our historical records suggested possible. The assembled scientists watched in awe as their shared quantum display revealed the true scope of what they were creating. Each ship became a node in a growing web of quantum energy, capable of sharing not just data, but fundamental manipulations of space-time itself. The predecessors didn't just build a communication network, Maya explained to the gathered representatives. They created a system that allowed cooperative manipulation of reality at the quantum level. But it could only work if different species with different perspectives and technologies chose to work together. Which is why the Confederation's approach was doomed to fail, James added. They tried to control and suppress the technology, when its very nature required collaboration and diversity of thought. The quantum network pulsed with new energy as more ships joined the test, each adding their unique configurations to the growing web. Distance became meaningless as quantum fields linked vessels in real time, regardless of their physical location in space. We're receiving requests from 17 more species to join the initiative, Sophia reported, including some we've never encountered before. They say they detected the quantum network activation and recognized the patterns. Maya smiled. The network isn't just reconnecting us with the past. It's helping us build a new future. One where advancement comes through cooperation, not competition or suppression. Aisha's console lit up with new data. The quantum field harmonics are stabilizing across all nodes. We're seeing computational capabilities that exceed our highest theoretical projections. Each connected ship is amplifying the network's potential. In the months since humanity had exposed the truth about the crystal technology, the galaxy had transformed. The Confederation's rigid hierarchy had given way to a new alliance of species, each contributing their unique insights to understanding the predecessor's legacy. Earth, once dismissed as primitive, had become a central hub of technological and cultural exchange. The predecessors left us more than just advanced technology. Vrel observed, their crystalline form refracting the quantum energy that filled the room. They left us a choice. We could either learn to work together, combining our different perspectives and abilities, or remain trapped by our own limitations. The stellar Voyager's quantum core pulsed with renewed energy as the test reached its completion. Through the network, Maya could sense the excitement and wonder from the crews of every connected ship. Species that had once been kept apart by the Confederation's manipulations were now working together, each discovery leading to new questions and possibilities. Initial network test complete, Sophia announced. All ships report successful quantum integration. We're already receiving requests to begin the next phase of experiments. Maya looked around at the assembled beings, humans, Lumini, and a dozen other species, all working together to unlock mysteries that had waited millennia to be rediscovered. The ship that had been given to humanity as a mockery had become the cornerstone of a new age of exploration and cooperation. Send word to all participating vessels, she ordered. Phase 2 begins immediately. Let's see what we can achieve together. The stellar Voyager's crystal matrices hummed with power, their light pulsing in harmony with ships across the growing network. Humanity had not just proven their worth to the galaxy. They had helped forge a new path forward, turning an ancient legacy of power into a foundation for shared discovery and growth. In the quantum realm that connected them all, the boundaries between species began to blur, replaced by a shared purpose that would carry them all into a future brighter than any single civilization could have achieved alone.